So, rumor Deadpool and Wolverine are reshooting to add more cameos. I can believe that. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then, side note, X-Men reboot seeking a person of color to direct because magical skin. Magical skin. Yeah. Anyway, let's have a look, shall we? I don't know. This stuff just is beyond me sometimes. So, according to recent reports, reshoots for Deadpool and Wolverine are currently underway and could continue to the end of the month. When is it releasing again? Soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have can you
July.
get the date for me?
Yeah,
July.
It's just a couple months away.
So this is a repeat of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with
and the Marvels, and I mean we can go down a list now, and Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've got on a limb here and say this actually will struggle to make a profit now. Then.
Oh, indeed. Yeah.
Because they're doing still more bloody reshoots and like this. Nah,
and,
this is
and
crazy.
And they'll have to punch it up in post with the CGI and everything else. So, yeah, this is going to explode the budget, and it will guarantee that this film, if it doesn't make $1 billion, will not make a profit. Because it's already on the high side, if I remember right. Let me find the reported budget, but yeah,
I can't remember. Can't remember what the budget was. But it says this additional photography is pretty much the norm for any major studio. Yes, not a month before it's released or finishing a month before it's released. That's not normal. That's terrible. Some fans still tend to assume the worst. I'll assume the worst based on its budget, and meaning it won't be able to earn money. Yes. And the article says, while it's true, and the reshoots can often alter significant plot points, character arcs, more often than not, it's something much more trivial. That's actually not true with Marvel. So we knew with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, they were going to go for a much darker ending, but they changed that as well at the last minute to make it a better ending, more happy, jovial ending. So no, actually, it generally always changes plot points, like pretty much always, especially with Marvel stuff. So according to Daniel Richtman, the Deadpool and Wolverine reshoots are mostly to add even more cameos. Marvel Studios and director Sean Levy are pleased with the movie and aren't attempting to fix anything. They're always going to say that. They're never going to say anything other than that. But then here's the other interesting thing. So they say, according to My Time to Shine, hello, who is, in fairness, a known Marvel shill on Twitter. So he's probably right here. He's apparently heard that Marvel Studios is looking for a person of color to direct the upcoming X-Men movie. And it follows a previous rumor that claimed Mufasa, the Lion King director Barry Jenkins, could be on the studio's radar to take the helm with a long-awaited reboot, which would make sense, actually, because Disney likes to just take people that they work with and just go, yeah, we'll just keep you here and work with us. So Marvel has apparently been taking pitch meetings with writers since last year, and recent reports indicate that they are very close to finding out who will pen the script for the project. So there you go. Magical skin makes a big difference. Apparently, you need a black person.
First of all, Barry Jenkins would be a terrible choice. Second, $250 million was the reported estimated budget going back months ago for this film. And it's going to be far more than that. And the like I said, this is now there are going to be parts of this film that will look incomplete and incoherent in terms of the storytelling. It will feel disjointed now. Jeez.
Well, they'll probably laugh it up with jokes and stuff, though, I'd imagine. That's how they'll get away with it all.
Yeah, but again, I mean, this is how many times do we have to see this? I mean, this is one of those trains. We see the headlight coming. It just exited the tunnel. It's headed our way. And it doesn't see that there's another train headed the other direction about to smash it that just went by us. This is going to be a disaster.
Bo?
Yeah, well, I imagine that any reshoots, it's just a complete fail. It's like, scoring an own goal or something, or like shooting yourself in the foot. It's just an out and out. It's never, ever, ever going to be good. It doesn't bode well, put it that way. It cannot bode well to ever do any reshoots. It's like, sorry, do you have a story, a plot, and a story, or not? When anything creative is written, if it's done by committee, again, it's sort of a truism. If it's done by committee, it's going to be sloppy and messy and almost certainly crap. So if at any late stage in anything you have to do reshoots, well, then you probably were dealing with a turd from inception then. Right? I mean, on another smaller channel, we're talking all about Band of Brothers doing a ridiculously deep dive over many weeks into Band of Brothers. I don't know if all you guys have ever watched that Band of Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. Loved it.
Bit of a different beast, really, because there's a book to go off of, a Stephen E. Ambrose book, and of course it's based on true events and things. But nonetheless, there's no real way that you would right near the end have to do any reshoots, because the plot, the story, the characters, it's all there. It's all quality. You would never ever find yourself in a position where somewhere down the line, some exec, some producer, someone from way up on high goes, actually, I want to crowbar in this new thing. Actually, your storyline, your plot is flawed and crap because of XYZ. Now let's do this right close to release date. It's just a nonsense. And that not only that they're dealing with it is super high budgets, hundreds of millions of dollars. These are lunatics have taken over the asylum. These are children playing in the world of men. It's just, yeah, I've gone from being sort of interested in this film to really not all that interested, because it will, yeah, it's just broken the back of my enthusiasm for it, just hearing that news, because it just means it's going to be stupid. It's going to be even more stupider than what I thought it was going to be. But who knows? I might be proven completely wrong.
I do like the input. I like it. I think it's interesting. Yeah, getting your input on something like this. I hate using the term normie, but I do like it.
I don't mind.
Of an opinion outside of the world, not ingratiated, sort of in it all the time. And everyone in the chat is like, yeah, completely right. And yeah, you are completely right. I just think from my perspective, from being in the world, I don't particularly care about I don't think this film is going to be particularly great anyway. I've said that from the off. I don't think it's going to be great mainly because Ryan Reynolds, I think, will have too much creative control, like he did with Deadpool 2. But it's just not astronomical budget now. Like, it's never going to turn a profit. So from the financial element, which I always find interesting, it's just never going to turn a profit. Like, why would you do this to yourself? Like, why? And also with Marvel, and people will agree with this, I'm sure, is that they have this problem where they greenlight stuff that isn't finished, which is going off the elements which you were talking about. Like, it should be finished. Your script should be finished. You should have greenlit it as is. Why did you greenlight something with a budget of $200+ million that isn't actually finished? Like, that's madness. It's absolute madness.
There's a lot of madness here because, again, pickups are one thing, right? Those types of reshoots are regular, but something like this tight to the film release, again, reveals that they didn't have confidence in the test screens. The test screens weren't good enough to make the money that they need the film to make, so they spend more money trying to make that happen. The only other element is because of the release of all of the standards that Disney requires for every production that they do now, all the DEI, ESG support garbage system, all of that stuff. If it's not met, maybe they had to go back to the well so that they could meet those standards. That's the other thing. Again, you put Ryan Reynolds in charge of this and he doesn't get enough diversity in there, they're going to force feed that. So like I said, this is nothing but bad. I agree 100% with Bo. There's nothing that I have no enthusiasm, right? Wasn't like going into this, running at it, going, yay, now I'm going to be a very pedestrian stride walking into my theater to see this film.
I'll be the contrarian. I think it's fine. I think it's accurate. I think they're just shooting cameos because they were waiting to shoot some of these, considering a few things have already leaked out.
Tom, they're not saying that they're bringing people in for the post-credits scene. That's not what this is.
No, but that doesn't mean that they're not shooting other cameos and stuff that they weren't sure if they were going to use or not. And now that they know, they're probably getting closer to, because they've got to be to the point now where they've got a final cut, because they're only a couple months out. Do you have anything to say that?
No, but that it doesn't take much to leap to that. It doesn't take much to speculate to that.
I haven't heard nothing about a test screening, so.
All right. You would have tested. You absolutely would have tested this.
Yeah.
But they would not have tested it. Surely.
I think they just pushed off a lot of the cameos till near the end so they wouldn't leak out, because one big one already did. So.
You guys talking about Ghost Rider?
Nope.
Oh.
I'm talking about one that made Anna go squee.
Oh.
What Henry Cavill Wolverine one?
Yeah.
Fine, sure. I don't know. Meh. Is what it is. I just think it's not going to turn a profit. I appreciate your opinion there, Tom.
To me,
I like the fact we can disagree.
We haven't really heard anything negative come out of the filming so far. And they've got to hurry this thing up. This is a bum rush job. So my guess, and that's the other thing is that Ryan had been sitting on this for a while because he was ready to walk when Bob said no to an R rating before, if we recall. And I'm not saying that Bob wouldn't come around and say, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. But I'm also pretty sure that Ryan Reynolds would tell him to go piss up a rope. Because otherwise he'd be like, I'll just walk. Because I'm sure built into the contract that he has final cut.
Yeah, maybe. True. Mike Healy says, could the reshoots be being done to enable to release a kid-friendly cut? Disney needs money. I don't reckon so. But that's an interesting thing to consider.
Once Upon a Deadpool was a failed experiment.
Was it? What did it do?
They put out a PG-13 version with extra added footage, and I don't even think it mustered $10 or $15 million at the box office. I can't even remember. Yeah, so it probably didn't even pay for its advertising, let alone the new shot scenes and all that business.
Yeah. Burke says, not entirely related, but it's driving me insane that no one is theorizing that Ghost Rider is the one who opens the portal. Nick Cage is returning. Nick Cage has said some pretty damn stuff about Marvel. He's like, I don't need them, they need me. I love Nick Cage. Nick Cage is great.
Nick Cage!
Gotta love the Cage rage. Ben, Super Chat $3, says, I can see Cyclops' vagina. Yep, Mangina's on show there. Sorry about that, guys. Big Boss SB says, don't you think this might be a bit of an overreaction? Not unwarranted given Disney's track record, but couldn't it be something as simple as cameo availabilities opening up last minute, and they just want to subtly slide in a few extra fan cameos for fun? Well, you know what I would say to that? I would say, yeah, you're right? Like it could be. But I also don't think member berries are that good in a film either. So if we're just getting, 4 weeks worth of shooting of member berry cameos, that doesn't make me massively excited about it either, to be fair. That just makes me go, oh, okay, cool. Do you remember this person? Yeah, I remember. Like, it's fine. Cool. That doesn't make a movie.
But I mean, even the newer generation, the recently weaned, are rejecting these, too many cameos, too many reboots, too many sequel things.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to see that. It bears out in numbers, I mean, it feeds into a larger argument that, people are tired of rehashed garbage, especially since it is garbage. I mean, it's so laden with things that are unrelated to the original property. And you know what? People want something authentic, which is why they're turning to, YouTube for entertainment because they want authentic people. They want diverse opinions, which is something that certain people are afraid of. Anyway, those like I said, my enthusiasm, much like Bo's, is waned, and that's not good. That's not a good thing for a hardcore, Deadpool fan. You don't want me to be the guy going, yeah, I don't know how good this is going to be.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I said this once in our conversation before. People like originality. So, like the original sort of golden age of comics, we're talking like the Cold War, really, aren't we? Like Superman goes back to the 50s, right? Like the higher watermark of comics, it could be even earlier than that, but sort of all through the 70s and 80s and stuff, it's still all fresh. When you look back at the art and the artistic expression of the Victorian era, it's so weirdly original. And a lot of it is just is a hit and miss. A lot of it is a miss, and it's forgotten. But some of it is just some of the most brilliant stuff you'll ever see. If you go back to the Renaissance of Florence in the 15th century, it's original. What they're doing is original, and it's some of the best stuff humans ever made. You go back to classical Athens, the 5th century BC. It's all original. They're not copying anyone. They're not rebooting anything. And it's some of the best stuff ever. Even kids know they don't want a reboot of a remake because it's crap. Even a small child gets that with just using their intuition.
Originality does seem to be massively on the decline, hugely.
Yeah.
It goes along with trying to erase humanity. Humanity rejects those types of things. Humanity is creative, and rejecting rehash is something that humans do well. It's one of the reasons why, all of the cars don't look the same, and when they do, there's less enthusiasm for automobiles. We're constantly rebooting our perception of aesthetics, and it doesn't jive with the cultural revolution. Everything is the same, everybody's the same garbage, which is what
modern cars are all the bloody same at the moment. I hate modern cars so much.
Well,
as a car nut, I hate modern cars so much. I'm getting so sick of modern cars. They're all the same. They all look like trash.
I've been seeing some differences in new vehicle offerings, but you are correct. A lot of these cars went that way for these.
Don't make them like they used to.
No. Well, look at a DeLorean, right? Or an old Corvette Stingray, or something like that.
Celica,
TA-21
or TA-22. Yeah. Beautiful. Anyway, we've got a super chat from Ben. It says, I can't watch this movie unless there's a black lesbian trans disabled neurodivergent retard directing it.